Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I want to share a little quirk about me. I have no understanding of how small I am. I really feel like I look everybody in the eye. And I don't just mean, the Alan Konigsbergs of the world. I mean the Alan Hoffmans of the world. I feel like I'm eye to eye with them. In fact, when I see myself in a photograph, I'm always a taken aback by seeing myself standing next to, you normal-sized people. And I sometimes think, boy, the photographer caught us at a really strange angle, rather than, no, you're 4'11". For some reason, I think that I am stronger and bigger and apparently taller than I actually am. And usually this is helpful to me. It gives me confidence in the world, confidence as a leader. But once in a while, perhaps it's important to acknowledge my own limitations, to see my smallness, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. Like all human beings, I have limited capacity. In the last 2 weeks, I have had 4 families share with me that we are not meeting their pastoral care needs. Now, these families experienced death and long-term illness. And they did receive attention from me, as well as our wonderful volunteers on the CBT Cares Committee. That's our committee that helps with pastoral care. But despite our best efforts, it was not sufficient. If you think about going through long-term suffering, you're going to feel lonely as you experience long-term grief, anxiety, anger, and depression. Hearing this from them was like the shock I feel when I see myself in a photograph standing next to taller people. I am not able to care for all of their needs. But the good news is the Beth Torah way has never been to depend on one person, not even if that person is the rabbi. The Beth Torah way is to work together to try to meet the needs of the community. Some of you may be thinking at this point, but Rabbi, it is not my job to provide pastoral care. That's why we pay you. And if I wanted to be part of the pastoral care team, I would join CBT Cares. Well, listen, I couldn't agree with you more that a big reason why you hired me was to provide pastoral care. In fact, I think it's the most important part of my job. And yes, it is wonderful to have members on our CBT Cares team, but do the math with me for a minute. We have 284 households. Let's say we have an average of 2 people per household. I can't call all of those people once a week or even once a month, and CBT Cares can't do it either. It's too big a job. We need a bigger team. Now some of you are thinking, okay, Rabbi, it's important, and you're telling me that we have a lot of people in need of pastoral care, but surely it's not really every household that's in need of pastoral care. Well, you might be surprised. It's not just our older members that need this care. Our younger families, some of them are dealing with children being given diagnoses of learning differences, mental health issues, physical ailments. Some of our couples are going through divorce. Others have lost their jobs or their businesses have been threatened. Some of us are caring for aging parents. Others are caring for adult children with special needs. The need for pastoral care actually spans our demographics, and it's not a small percentage of our congregants that need our help. So now some of you may be thinking, okay, the rabbis made a good point. We have a lot of pastoral care to do, but who am I to take care of someone else? I have no training in pastoral care. Honestly, you're probably as qualified as the next person. Do you remember last week's sermon about holding space for people and the sacred art of shutting up? That's essentially pastoral care. Really, that's all it is. It takes a little courage to pick up the phone and then to ask a question that gets a person talking and to just listen. It's a skill that every person can work on, I promise you. So what can we do practically to meet these pastoral care needs? I'd like to offer some actual suggestions that you can try today. Well, here's a start. When we send out a condolence email, or you see someone's name in the Shabbat bulletin, either in paper or online, you see them on the Mishaberach list, or you hear that they have a yard site, even if you know that person just a little bit, give them a call. And please don't worry that you're going to bother them, because I guarantee you, I've had lots of experience. If they don't want to talk to me, A, they won't pick up the phone. B, they won't respond to my voicemail. Or C, if they do pick up the phone, they will very quickly and politely excuse themselves from the conversation. But I would much rather have us have the problem of too many people calling to offer support than no one calling to offer support. Another thing that we can do is create groups that support one another. Recently in our congregation, we had a number of people who are taking care of others with a long-term illness decide that they would like to meet regularly. They gather to share their experiences and to listen to one another. There's no reason that has to be the only group. If you see a group that might be beneficial, whether you're struggling with addiction, or you have a child with a learning difference, or you're caring for someone who is not well, we can form a group. And if you approach me or our membership team, we'd be happy to help you get the word out to find others who might benefit from knowing that people in the congregation are experiencing similar things. Another thing we haven't done in a while, but could try, is preemptive care. We could form chavurot, small groups. Now, these groups are not based on mutual suffering. They're sometimes based on geography, sometimes based on the stage of life a person finds him or herself in, or sometimes based on mutual interests. And it's been a long time since we really, as a congregation, tried to help place people in chavurot. But if you think helping people form those friendships so that when something does go wrong in life, you do have a built-in social network at the synagogue would be helpful, please come forward and let the membership team and I know that you would like to help organize and lead this project. And the final thing that you can do is COVID is keeping some of our folks away from our normal activities. We're no longer seeing them at services, at activities, and in the Learning Center. But that doesn't mean they're not here. And that doesn't mean they're not participating by tuning into services or online classes. They're still members of the community. So you can run down a list in your head and think, who did I used to see here all the time who I haven't seen in a while? You can give them a call and see how they're doing. So as it turns out, I actually am a very small person, and I think I'm the only one in the room who finds that surprising. And like all humans, sometimes I have to admit that I'm limited. But the good news is, I'm not alone. And one of the things I love the most about Beth Torah is it is a place where if you have an idea of how to help, you can get involved. And so I know that together we can do a better job of loving each other and helping each other. Shabbat Shalom.